Hi everybody, welcome back to Fossman Media. Sorry for a long pause in video uploads. I just noticed a couple days ago it's been over 2 months since the last time I posted a video. So today I thought I'd disrupt this lazy pattern and show you what I've been working on. So what you're seeing on your screen right now is a website that I'm wanting to make for quite some time. Its intention is to provide information for people who have decided to leave their proprietary operating systems behind, but are just overwhelmed and not really sure where to start when it comes to the wonderful world of free and open source software. And this is one problem I'd be more than happy to contribute to correcting, hence this YouTube channel that you're watching right now and this website. So the main goal is to include complete instructions on each step involved when switching over to an operating system such as Linux, starting with how to choose a distribution, to its installation, to maintaining it long after it's been installed. And I think what I'll do now, maybe just give you a quick tour, show you what I'm thinking about including, and then if you can think of anything else that would be helpful for someone just getting started, or possibly technical information that you would like to see yourself, please just let me know and I'll try to include that in the finished product. I was going to wait to post this video until I was all done and it was and the website was already hosted. But I thought this way maybe I could get some feedback from you guys just to help maybe point me in the right direction and figure out exactly what people would want in a website such as this. But yeah, enough about that. Let's maybe just have a quick tour of the website here, and I'll show you what I'm thinking about including, and we can just go from there. So up here at the top, we have a bit of a menu with the two main pages. The first one, of course, would be GNU/Linux, and the second one would be networks. And I decided to include the networks page because I think most people, no matter your skill level or what you even use the distribution for, will definitely need some general information about the tools that come pre-installed with the distribution on how they can manage their networks and figure out how their devices and stuff communicate. But I think what I'll do now maybe is just go to the main menu. And as you can see, those two pages that I just mentioned are right here. So we got GNU/Linux cheat sheets, and then below that we got networks. So starting with GNU, we have some instructions on how to get started. This would include, say, how to choose your distribution that suits your particular needs, and how to create the bootable USB media that you can use to install that distribution onto the computer with. And then below that, we have some instructions on how to actually install it, along with some tips and tricks on how to prepare the system before you do that. And then post-install is just, of course, instructions on what to do after the operating system has been installed. And then just some tips and tricks on how to monitor the system long after it's been up and running. This would include, say, different processes, distant drives, and so on. And then with networks, we just have some information on basic tools that already come pre-installed that people can use to configure their networks with. A list of ports that the applications use. Topologies would be, say, if you want to add an sorry, I'm in trouble talking today. If you want to add an additional network, say to either extend the existing one or to maybe make a private network that other devices won't be able to see. Definitely very useful information. And then some OSI models. And these will just help you pinpoint and troubleshoot where problems may be originating from on the network. For example, if, say, an application is having problems connecting to the internet, you can use the, say, some of the ports tables to find out which port that application is running on and then allow it in your firewall and so on. But, so I think what I'll do now maybe is just go to the GNU page. And here's just some brief information about it that I just described a couple minutes ago. And then under that, we have a great big long laundry list of different areas that someone may want to explore if they're just getting started and they want to go through each step and have an operating system up and running at the very end of it that is customized exactly the way they want. And if I was just getting started with Linux, I would just suggest to start at the very top of this list, go through each step, and then just work your way down to the very bottom. So, starting with getting started, maybe I'll just click on that. And here's those two main steps that I mentioned before, choosing the distribution and creating the bootable media. Under that, we have just a list of distributions, just a handful of ones that I would suggest that someone use depending on their skill level or what they intend on using the operating system for. And I only have about 5 or 6 here. So if someone wanted to find a longer list, they can just click on this link right here to distrowatch.com. And that will provide an absolute massive list of different Linux distributions that they can read about and decide whether they want to install or not. And I just saw one here for BSD. And I don't have any BSD information on this website yet, but yeah, I think I'll definitely add that in the future. Yeah, actually, I just thought about that right now when I saw that. Yeah, this is a great website if you want to read more about different distributions and figure out exactly which one that you'll need. So if I close that off and we scroll down a bit further here, we'll get to some instructions on how to actually create the bootable USB media itself. And if you're coming from Windows, you may not already have this software installed on your system. So you'll have to download a separate tool. And one that I would suggest using would be Bleanatcher. So if I click on that, there's this tool right here where you can download it and just some basic instructions on how to use it. Very handy tool and very easy to use. And definitely suggested for beginners. They're just learning how to make these bootable flash drives. And if I close that off, here's some more instructions on exactly how to use that tool. Like I said, it's very intuitive and easy to use. But if you're just getting started doing something like this, maybe a little bit intimidating. So I thought I'd include those instructions here. And that would be on getting started. And then if we go back here, after those steps are complete, they can go maybe to installation. And these will include instructions on how to prepare the system after you install it, and then the actual installation itself, such as how to boot into the BIOS. If you've been using Windows most of your life, you may not even know how to do this. So yeah, I thought I'd provide instructions for how to do that. And then disable secure boot within the BIOS if you're not able to boot into the installation media, which I've been finding is very common on newer systems these days. And you'll have to disable secure boot in many cases to actually get into the installation itself. And then just some instructions on how to modify the boot order of those devices, which are all right here. And then under that, we have the actual installation itself. So booting into the USB media. The default install, this will include instructions how to install the distribution through the guided partitioning scheme. But say if you wanted to create your own partitions for, say, maybe a recovery drive or something like that, you can look at these instructions right here of the manual installation, which will guide you through how to partition your hard drives manually. And I've also included a video here too on how to do that in case you wanted greater detail on those instructions. And yeah, all those are right here. And there's that video that I just mentioned right here, which is also on my YouTube channel, but I just thought I'd also include it in here too. If we go back to the main GNU/Linux page here, after the installation, we have post install. And this will just include a bunch of different items, such as how to update and upgrade the installation. This would be the initial upgrade. How to back important system files, such as the bashrc, sources.list, .profile, stuff like that. How to install and enable a firewall. These instructions will describe this process with UFW specifically, which in most cases will be the firewall that most people will go with. And then how to add or remove software from the system, how to remove directories from backup, clean up and reboot the system. And then after the system is configured the way the person wants, they can take a snapshot of the system. And then if they're overly ambitious and they say want to automate the entire process of everything they do after the operating system has been installed, they can follow these instructions right here, post automation script. So we just click on that and scroll down a bit. Here's everything that script does. And I also have a video of this on my YouTube channel also. And then below that, we just have a long list of commands that were used in that video. And then below that is just a link to that video itself. Would also just be watched right here. And yeah, that's all the post install instructions that I thought I would include there. And after post install, we just have system monitoring, which are just some basic instructions on how to use the tools that already come pre-installed by default to monitor, say, system processes, disks and drives, and stuff like that, which are all right here. And that pretty much does it for GNU/Linux. So if anyone can think of anything else I should add to this that would help make it easier for people to get started, please just let me know and I'll add those changes before I host the website. And then maybe if we go to networks here, just a little bit of information about it at the top. And then down below that, we have another big long laundry list of different tools and tables and more information that people can use to discover how their devices are connecting on their network and to troubleshoot issues that may happen to occur. So we click on tools here. We have some basic tools on network information, firewalls, remote connections. Say if you want to set up a reverse shell. For instance, if you have a friend or a family member from across the country or the globe that needs you to connect to their machine remotely, so you can say troubleshoot a problem, you can use these instructions right here. And also too, if you have concerns about anonymity and privacy on your network, there's some steps here you can take to help ensure that your network stays private and that you can stay also anonymous online if that's the route that you choose to go. For example, say if I click on remote connections here, there's instructions on how to use SSH, how to set that up, make the configuration file, and just secure it and make it really safe. And then SFTP, which comes bundled with SSH, that you can also use to transfer files over the network to that host. SSHFS is a great tool, say if you want to create a shared directory on your machine that other clients can connect to, as an alternative to say something like Samba, which can be pretty complicated to set up at times and is just very heavy. Whereas this tool right here, SSHFS, is much, much lighter on resources. And maybe if I just click on that right now and scroll down a bit, you can see right here, it only takes one command to set that up, which is extremely convenient and much, much easier than Samba, in my opinion. But, and that's remote connections, networking tools. And then right here, we have a list of different ports. As you can see, we have well-known, registered, dynamic, and the most common ports, which are very useful. Say if an application isn't able to connect to the internet, you can find out what port that application requires to be open. For example, right here, if I scroll down a bit, we have SSH. So say you're trying to connect to an SSH server or host and you're not able to, you can double check and make sure that that port is allowed in the firewall. So right here, you would check and make sure that 22 is allowed. And it just also includes a brief description too and the protocols they use along with the ports. So for example, too, if say you wanted to host your own service, you have to use a port that isn't already defined up here with their registered ports. For example, like with SSH, port 22, you wouldn't be able to use that because it's already being used by a different service. So say if you wanted to set something up and use a port that wasn't already being used, you use one of these dynamic ports right here. And then just below that is just a quick list of the most common ones that are used right here. And those are network ports. And then we go back to the networks page here. Under ports, we have topologies. And the main purpose of this page is to provide instructions for people who want to, say, add an additional network to their existing network to either extend it or create a completely private network that other devices won't be able to see. And this will give information on how to do that. The most common type of network is the basic network. And this will come pretty much right out of the box if you just have a basic home network that you use to browse the internet and stuff like that. Of course, you don't need a switch, and most people don't have them. I just thought I'd throw that in there for just a more detailed setup, I guess, if you want to go that route. But even if you didn't use a switch, all these devices would just connect directly to the main router itself. And here's the information you would use to do that, which may look a little bit intimidating. It does look like a lot, especially when you get into the multiple networks right here. but you won't be required to enter in all this information. It's just there pretty much in case you'll need it, in case you need it. And then you can see how IP addresses and stuff are assigned to specific devices in case you need to figure out how all that stuff works. And yeah, especially with the multiple networks here too. Like for example, right here down here at the bottom, we'd have 2 additional private networks. With the only exception is these routers are connected through the WAN instead of the LAN to make those private. And then you add an additional subnet. So these devices here don't conflict with other devices on on other networks. And I'm completely lost in the weeds right now. Sorry about that. But yeah, that's topologies. And then I'll go back to networks. And underneath topologies, we just have models, which are mostly just used for troubleshooting purposes. And we have a diagram here of the OSI model, TCP/IP model, and the DoD4 model, which are very useful for troubleshooting problems on your network. Say if you're having problems with your switch or MAC addresses, you can find out where that resides on this table, see what role it uses, and maybe find out which application or which layer may be causing the problem and go from there. And I think that's about it for networks. And about it for, I think, for this website so far anyways. So yeah, if anyone can think of anything else that I should change, add, or remove, please just let me know. And yeah, the final goal is just to make this process of switching over to a FOSS operating system as easy as possible, and to provide basic network information that anyone can use to help understand how their machines communicate over the network and how to configure these connections. I'll probably post another video when I go to host the website. But yeah, in the meantime, if you guys just can provide any other feedback or assistance, that'd be great. And then I'll make sure to include those changes before I actually before I host it. And I should probably mention too that no parts of this website will ever be monetized or behind a paywall of any kind. The intention of creating this project is solely just to contribute back to the community, as I'm just unable to do so financially at the present time. And I thought providing a platform where this type of information could be easily found and understood would hopefully be beneficial to other people. So yeah, I guess I'll just close off by saying thank you guys for watching the video. And seeing as I have a fair amount of unexpected time coming up, I certainly plan on posting these far more often. But yeah, thank you guys for your time, and hope to see you on the next one. Bye for now.